And so we're talking about dual immersion.
Right.
So to me, and this is just, I don't know. If you're talking about dual immersion, you need to have at least 50% of the kids there who are speaking a different language. Is that's dual immersion, right?
Yeah.
So then the other alternative is just immersion, like you have at Ainsworth.
Ainsworth.
Can Spanish-speaking students benefit as much from an immersion program as they can from a dual immersion program?
So the way we break it down is,
You just don't have enough kids in some of those schools.
Right,
You have
right,
a lot of
right.
kids, just not quite enough.
so we have two models. Like for example, the one that we have at Ainsworth is a 50-50 model.
50-50, not students.
No, not
Percent
students,
spent
percent
each
of
language.
instruction,
Language.
percent of
Right.
the instruction. So
Right.
50% of the instruction is, and usually can be a two-teacher model where teachers switch kids, or it can be one teacher. And that is for populations where you have most of the students are English-speaking students. Then the 50-50 model, that's the one that we have at Ainsworth. We also have the one at Richmond, which is the Japanese
Japanese,
and
Is Ainsworth the only one that's just an immersion, Spanish immersion program?
for Spanish, yeah, that is 50-50.
Okay.
50-50.
Okay. And the other ones are dual immersion?
The other ones are the where you have 90-10 models, where 90% of the instruction is in Spanish in kinder, and then it goes up by 4th grade, it balances to 50-50. And the ideal in that situation is to have 50% of the population that speaks, for example, Spanish, if it's a Spanish immersion, and 50% of the kids that speak English. So the kids, they serve each other as a model for the language. And those are the ones that we have in most of the other schools, like Chavez, Riegler, Beach, and all those. We put them together about 10 years ago because schools were all over the place. So we say for populations that serve mostly ELL students, then the 90-10 model to us, based on the research, that was the model that we adopted. So we moved some of the schools to a 90-10. There were other models. We have the Kelly model, which is right now a 70-30, the Russian program, which is 70% of the instruction in Russian, 30% of the instruction in English. So we're thinking about moving that to a 90-10 model also. So I don't know if that answers your question, but in terms of the dual immersion, is that the two languages are being used as the means of instruction.
And in most of those dual language programs, they serve the neighborhood students. There are fewer transfers
Right.
into
Yes.
that program. Is that
Right,
correct?
right.
It's not a magnet program
Right.
like Ainsworth.
Exactly.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And one of the issues about Riegler being a Spanish immersion focus school is the students that currently, like the Somali students, or the students that currently attend Riegler that would be forced out. I mean, that was part of the pros and cons in the conversation last year about whether to do that or not.
Can I ask a quick question about that? My understanding of immersion, and I may not have as good of a depth knowledge with the research, but my understanding is actually, regardless of what your home language is, that a dual immersion program actually helps them because it kind of levels the playing field. Everybody doesn't know that, or not everybody, but many people don't know that language.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're in an environment where you're kind of on equal footing. People can begin to help each
Where
other.
the Spanish-speaking
Right.
child
Right.
actually is the one that has the
Spanish,
strength
or even
and
the
the.
Somali-speaking is in the same situation as an
Right.
English-speaking
Right.
child, and that neither one of them knows the language, the target language,
Right.
Mhm.
and then they're learning English as they continue. So a Somali family, for example, wouldn't necessarily be excluded from that.
No.
No,
Right. Okay.
you're
No.
right.
So we have, for example, in the Russian program, we have Latino students that are in the Russian immersion program, so they're learning Russian.
Mhm.